2025 is one heck of a time to be alive. I searched on the internet this week and I learnt from the European Space Agency that we've just taken some fantastic pictures of Mercury. I learnt that an astronaut had just gone out into space and done a spacewalk. Fantastic times. And I also learnt from a flat earther, this.
Mass is identical to weight, but this weight is space weight.
And if he wasn't so unbelievably and incomprehensibly incorrect on that, he'd actually be correct. But this video isn't about that flat earther. It's about one of the internet's most notorious flat earthers, deep inside the rabbit hole, or as we know him, David Weis.
Don't believe anything I say.
Okay, great advice. Now, David Weis is an extremely enthusiastic flat earther. Whenever he speaks to somebody about the flat earth, he really gets their emotions going. He gets them so excited and interested, just like we can see he did with Roseanne Barr here.
And we have Flat Earth David Weis as our guest. Hi, Flat Earth Dave. I'm so intrigued by the whole flat earth thing.
Yes, aren't we all? It is so exciting. Now, David Weis is also a master debater. Make of that what you will. Here he is getting schooled by Professor Dave over on the Sean Atwood podcast. It's an old clip, but it's a good one.
You think that we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour and we don't feel it and we're changing, we're changing directions? How is that possible?
The Earth goes around the sun in how long? How long does it take?
A year.
A year, right? So why don't you go ahead and get in a car and do a 360 turn and make it take a year? Are you going to feel that?
Dave, that's not a
Let's
fair...
break it down. 360 degrees, 365 days, that's about a degree a year, right? Why don't you get in a car and drive for 24 hours and over 24 hours veer by 1 degree? Are you going to feel that?
Now, before you jump in the comment section, yes, Professor Dave misspoke. It happens in a live debate. He said 1 degree a year when he meant to say about 1 degree a day. Fair enough. But you know what? At least he didn't say this.
He might be saying, that guy, why would they even invent gravity then? Why is there mass? What is this shit about mass?
And that, of course, is one of the great questions we will never ever be able to answer. It's up there with what is the meaning of life, or will a flat earther ever figure out where the world goes when he shuts his eyes? But David Weis, why are we talking about him? Well, we're talking about him because he's been very, very vocal in the past about a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. He's very, very adamant it does not exist, and if it did exist, it would destroy the notion of a flat earth. Here he is in his own words.
The 24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't work on a flat earth. It works in the north, but not in the south. Well, guess what? There's thousands of videos of the 24-hour sun in from Alaska and Norway and, very northern places. You can book vacations and go and watch it in June, right? But in December, the same thing should happen in Antarctica, and it doesn't. And there's 4 videos where they've clearly faked it. And we watch their cams, and there's 10 hours cut out of every day. Like, why are you cutting out the same 10 hours? So why are they lying about the globe? The 24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't work on a flat earth.
And he's absolutely right. A 24-hour sun in Antarctica wouldn't work if the Earth was flat. And I'll tell you what else wouldn't work if the Earth was flat. Fucking everything, obviously. So it was very, very important to flat earthers that they found out if there was or wasn't a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. So they mounted an expedition. They decided to do an experiment. Now, flat earthers have got a long history of doing experiments, and they haven't always been successful, such as this experiment here to disprove the presence of gravity.
See, take my old phone here. Shit.
Actually, come to think of it, as an experiment into gravity, maybe that wasn't a failure after all. Now, before the final experiment, as it was called, occurred, before the flat earthers went down to Antarctica, I was asked on the Youaremopped podcast, which is linked in the description, and it's amazing. I was asked what I thought would happen to the flat earthers who went down there, and I gave 2 possible options. Here's my first. Yeah. The flat earther will observe the 24-hour, sunlight, and then come up with an alternative reason as to why that would happen on a flat earth. Done. Now, I'm not one to brag and tell you I told you so, but I absolutely nailed that one. This is Witsit Gets It, one of the flat earthers who went down to Antarctica, who did just that. He saw the 24-hour sun and basically give it a big, nuh-uh, it doesn't matter anyway. And here he is explaining that in his own words.
Objectively, it was just all real. We have no sleep. We see it. We're asked the truth. We tell the truth. That's why we were supposed to go down there, to be honest witnesses. That's what we did. It doesn't prove the Earth's a tilted wobbling spinning ball falling through a vacuum. That's absolutely ridiculous and insane. Antarctica was incredibly flat. It was ice you could see from incredibly far away. We have long distance infrared videos. We debunked the globe in multiple ways, in my opinion, there. Okay.
Although we have Witsit Gets It ignoring the observation and claiming that when he went to see the 24-hour sun, in his opinion, he debunked the globe, after previously saying, of course, that a 24-hour sun would be a big problem for flat Earth. But still, that's just Witsit's opinion, and if I had £1 for everybody who respected Witsit's opinion, I would be in huge debt. Anyway, I also gave a second option for what might happen to a flat earther who went and saw the 24-hour sun, and this is what I said. Or the flat earther, while they are there and, you know, maybe having conversations with people, may slowly, like we said, get themselves in a frame of mind where they're thinking, okay, maybe I'm wrong here. And then they are immediately called out by the rest of the flat earth community as being a shill and never a true flat earther all along. And would you believe it, I am 2 for 2. I'm sure we all know Jaren from the Jarenism channel by now is no longer a flat earther. And not only is he no longer a flat earther, he's being called a shill left, right and centre by people. But to his credit, he is standing firm, he's standing fast, and he's beginning to help other people realise that they are down a rabbit hole. And he does seem to be really interested in helping them dig themselves out. Okay, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt for a second. If you are enjoying the video that I am currently editing and you're currently watching, my question to you is, why? It's rubbish. And I know what comes next. It doesn't get any better. But subscribe anyway. See you later.
So I realized I had a block. Okay, now to the you conspiracy theorists out there, I want you to really listen to what I'm saying, because I realized this after the fact, and maybe you can realize it now. Okay, we have a mental block. It's a big, fat, stubborn mental block, the kind that you don't see because, ironically, you are too busy staring at the things that you've made, you know, looking at the walls that you put up around you. And let me tell you that once the block comes tumbling down, kaboom! It was like somebody cleaned my eyes with Windex or something. So the kicker is that I was the guy. I was the guy that did the bad research. Okay, you know, the kind where you cherry pick facts, like you're at an all-you-can-eat buffet or something, ignoring the stuff that doesn't taste very good, just grabbing the shrimp, grabbing the steak. I had that kind of righteous energy. I was convinced that I was fighting the good fight, when really what I was doing is shadowboxing my own bias.
Powerful words, and it couldn't have been easy for him to say that. So where does that leave this guy?
Don't believe anything I say.
Well, given that David Weis makes an awful lot of money selling his Flat Earth app, and given that he's been so vocal in the past saying that there isn't a 24-hour sun ever in Antarctica, and if there was, it will be disastrous for Flat Earth, he has to come up with some sort of answer, an explanation as to why Witsit and Jaren have seen what they've seen. And this week, he's done just that.
Basically, what you're saying is that you think that they faked the sun down there.
Absolutely. But when we say fake the sun, we don't mean the sun simulator. We don't mean this, because this is crazy.
Yes, I agree. It is crazy. It's absolutely crazy to say somebody has taken a sun simulator to Antarctica and used it to somehow cast a 24-hour sun in the sky. He's right. That is absolutely nuts. And David Weis is so convinced it's nuts, he thinks a sun simulator may have actually been leaked as some kind of anti-flat Earth psyop.
I think that the sun simulator was leaked several years ago as a red herring for this exact operation. When I say operation, this is an operation equal to the moon landing.
Wow, that's quite the claim. So there's only one question left. David Weis accepts the fact that Jaren and Witsit saw a 24-hour sun, or at least what they believe is a 24-hour sun, and David Weis has an explanation for it. But his explanation is not going to be anywhere near as crazy as them taking a sun simulator down to Antarctica, because after all, in his own words, that would be absolutely nuts. And here's David Weis coming up with an explanation that is not anywhere near as nuts as the idea of taking a sun simulator. And I can't stress that enough. What you're about to hear is apparently far, far less crazy than the idea of them taking a sun simulator. This is a far less nuts and crazy explanation. I hope I've made that point. What you're about to hear is not nuts and crazy. So how did David Weis say they faked it?
So there's one of the technologies, this is called a dragon fire. And you can shoot energy up into the sky and literally create a plasma ball.
And this is a
And-
trip.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so just seeing this stuff. I mean, if I cut out the background, you wouldn't know what you were looking at. If I said it was the sun, you would see the sun, right? But look at
Yeah.
this. Look at that. Doesn't that look a little bit like a sun? Doesn't that look like a beam, with the sun? Very strange.
Mhm.
Like if there was at different beams projecting this, like these are very, very strange sun flares. This could be an extraterrestrial orb that we don't understand, or this could just be another hoax with some directed energy, a plasma ball being projected in the sky. Looks a little bit like a sun. So if here's Union Glacier, their camp is somewhere in here, you could have one location here, and it beams the sun around this beam, and then when it gets over here, there's a handoff to another projector.
And I think the whole flat earth community are reeling in relief that David has come up with something far less nuts than the sun simulator. So thank you, David, for that. Phew is all I can say. But there were one or two people in the comments section of his video that did have just a little bit of a problem with his completely non-nuts explanation of what might have happened. For example, we have AV Warrior here saying, I really appreciate what you've done there, Dave, but I'm scratching my head. How can this localized beam of light end up illuminating the entire plane like the natural sun does? And that is a great question. When you're in a dark room and you shine a torch, for example, or a laser onto a wall, you can see that spot of light, but it's not going to illuminate the room like it would be in natural daylight. There's an obvious difference. And it's going to take a great genius mind to explain how this plasma ball laser projection onto the sky is resulting in some natural daylight. But luckily, we have a genius level flat earther in David Weis who can answer this question. Hello, it's me. I'm pretty sure this is what I sound like on my day off. It is today anyway. Listen, the sky is already lit because of the coffee cup caustic. They just need to put the fake sun in it. That makes perfect sense. And if you can't debunk it, it's probably because you can't understand what I'm trying to say. But, still, you can't debunk it. So up yours. So there we have our answer. We now know how this laser projection could result in natural looking daylight in Antarctica. And that answer was so complete and perfect, there is no remaining confusion about the matter whatsoever. Thank you, Flat Earth Dave. But there was somebody a little bit confused about a slightly different topic. They said if the sun in Antarctica was a projection, then where is the real sun? Oh, I know. I've got it. Me. Let me answer. It's simply too far away to rise. Yeah, that's it. Perfectly explained. I'm going now. Bye. That's it, Dave. Always leave them wanting more. I love that. But there was another question in the chat, and that was from somebody who was a little bit confused about the marathon runners that go running down in Antarctica. And do they not see the 24-hour sun? No, they don't. It was it was cloudy. Yeah. What? What do you mean that's a rubbish answer? Now, some people in his comment section decided to be friendly and actually help Dave Weis out by offering other explanations of how they might have faked it down there. But Dave, he seems to want the monopoly on stupid excuses. How dare you say something as stupid as it was a green screen? You've no idea what you're talking about. No idea. Let me handle this, because I know about the plasma laser sun that creates natural light, except when it's cloudy, and I think I've explained it perfectly. I don't need your help. Go away. So I think if we ignore the fact that he's explained nothing, we can safely now assume that he's explained everything and got it all covered. Except there is just one last thing. And that is that this projection of a sun in the sky was used by Jeroen while he was down there to burn a hole in a piece of paper using a magnifying glass, something which a projection just simply wouldn't be capable of doing.
Try one more time.
Now, this does really pose a significant problem to Dave's completely non-nuts and non-crazy alternative to the sun simulator, because it literally would break the laws of physics, just like everything involved in Flat Earth, to be able to hold a magnifying glass up to something projected on a screen and use it to burn a hole in a piece of paper. This is a real problem. It is literally just impossible to do what Jeroen is doing here if this is some kind of projection. And this impossibility was put to him by Newsdrops5361, who says, But can you really take a magnifying glass and burn paper with a laser spot in the sky? I doubt it. Now, he's raised an excellent point here, and I really wonder, how our flat earth genius David Weis is going to respond. It's all right, it's not a problem for me. I know all the things to say. Wrong, Yeo can. Yes, wrong, Yeo can. That explains everything. That explains absolutely everything about how he was able to use that magnifying glass. Yeo can. I'm going now, bye. Now, if you've learned anything from this video, hopefully it's this.
Don't believe anything I say.
But if you disagree and you think David Weis is talking a lot of sense, then I have some magic beans to sell you. At least they tasted magic when I ate them yesterday. You might have to wait another 24 to 48 hours before I can get them to you. But we won't go into that any further. I do want to add before I leave that FTFE is debating Dr. Andrew Wilson on the 15th of February in one heck of a debate. Dr. Andrew Wilson isn't a flurf, an uneducated flurf. He's a very articulate and educated individual who is going to be a real challenge, I think, for anybody, FTFE included. And the debate is going to be about morals and ethics, and is religion likely to produce a more moral and ethical person, or is, basically just understanding science and the way the world works going to be equally as good? FTFE is standing on the side of science, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've linked it in the description, so anyone who wants to watch it can. He's flying all the way out to somewhere. He did tell me, and I've forgotten recording this video, but he's flying Jersey or New Jersey, whatever. It's linked in the description, but it'll be well worth just getting on your watch list for YouTube. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Anyway, until next time, goodbye.